Hey everyone, welcome back to your favorite pirate crew. Today we're going to talk about Buggy being a D and the son of Xebec. If you'd like to see more about One Piece in our channel, please leave your thumbs up and subscribe to join our pirate crew. But pirates, before we continue with the video, I ask that you already subscribe to our channel. That way you can stay up to date and join our pirate crew, earn a devil fruit power, or master your favorite hockey of your very own. It would also be a great help to our crew if you left your like, thumbs up in today's video so that we together can become Yonkos. Anyway, let's continue with today's video. Buggy is one of those characters that appear in One Piece sometimes and make a deep impression on us because of his charismatic personality, goals, and actions that are either quite funny or quite epic because of his personality. However, it was precisely because he acted and showed himself to be this kind of silly villain character that Buggy became so remembered by the fandom. He was never taken seriously in almost anything he said or did, with good exceptions to the rule. This is precisely why his news of having recently become a Yonko caused such havoc on the internet. But could this character, who is at the same time so open to us, be hiding a great secret? After all, what is Buggy's origin? Who could his parents be? What, after all, could his last name be? Could he be involved with the D's in some way? It's about him that we'll talk more closely in today's video. Buggy is the main antagonist of the Orange Town arc, and can be considered the secondary antagonist of the Log Town arc. Since then, he has become a highly recurring character in the series, despite his rivalry with Luffy. He temporarily became one of the main allies during the Impel Down and Marineford arcs. Buggy is very vain and selfish and seeks to be glorified and feared by others. When he was 9 years old, he complained that Whitebeard's pirates were getting more attention in the newspaper than his crew, Roger's pirates. He doesn't spend much of his time honing his skills to become a powerful fighter, but focuses mainly on recruiting powerful subordinates who do the hard work while simultaneously being subjected to it. If presented with the opportunity to make himself look good and recruit powerful followers, Buggy will take it. Whenever someone strokes his ego, even if it is due to an inaccurate impression of him, Buggy delights in it and begins to have delusions of grandeur. When the fugitives from Impel Down praised him for being in Roger's crew, Buggy began to consider that their support might help him overthrow Whitebeard or even become the king of pirates. Besides wanting followers, Buggy loves to find treasure and spends most of his time following maps that lead to great riches. When he was in Roger's pirates crew, he stated that the most important thing to a pirate is the physical treasure they find. Buggy's extremely possessive of the treasure he takes and will kill anyone who tries to steal it. When Shanks accidentally caused him to lose a treasure map during his apprentice days, Buggy developed a grudge against him that lasted for 3 decades. When Roger's pirates went to Skypiea, Buggy was very attracted to the golden bell of the Chandelorian Bell. Buggy was very attracted to the golden bell of the Chandelorian Bell Tower and was disappointed when Roger decided not to take it. Buggy was even willing to guide Luffy through Impel Down in exchange for an armband pointing to Captain John's treasure, although he has no intention of fully honoring that deal, especially after Luffy gave him the armband in advance. Found out that Shanks was lying. Buggy is extremely proud. When he failed to kill Luffy, Zoro, and Nami for stealing and defying him, he said it would bring great shame to him and his crew to let them go free. After Luffy defeated him, Buggy made it his life's mission to hunt him down and kill him for simply pissing him off. He's prone to underestimating opponents he knows nothing about, as he initially mistook Luffy for a common thief and believed that Luffy was much weaker than him until he was defeated by him. He initially paid much more attention to Zoro due to having heard of the swordman before. Of Roger's pirates, most of the relationships between Buggy and other crew members remain unknown. Although he was often punished by Silver's Rayleigh, he still has a lot of respect for the former first mate of the crew, even wanting to see him again after Luffy mentioned him. Buggy, like Shanks, must have had a good relationship with Roger, or at least shown admiration for him, as Buggy was seen crying at his execution. He initially held Kazuko Oden in a bad light, as the latter's rise drew the attention of his crew. However, after Oden joined the crew, Buggy considered him to be on a high. He wanted to help with Oden's desire to open the land of Wano to the world, despite the annoyance of being referred to as the second son. Since Buggy's introduction to the story, he's generally known as a comic relief character, and was never really taken seriously in anything he said or did. Formerly a warlord and now a kingpin of the underworld, Buggy flew under the radar of the WG for his entire career. Even after his capture, it wasn't until his escape from Impel Down that they finally realized his significance. significance. As an apprentice of Goldie Roger, the sworn brother of Yonko Shanks, the redhead, a rival of Monkey D. Luffy, a member of the worst generation, Buggy's connections run deep. It's amazing that he managed to stay under the radar for so long, but is that where his connections end? Buggy notably has the same power as Luffy that was described by Mihawk in Marineford, the power to lure everyone to become an ally. This power has allowed him to stumble to great and greater heights of succession, but I wonder where he gets such an ability from. The first thing we know about Buggy is that he was a child from Roger's ship, alongside Shanks, from when he was about 10 years old. Where did they both come from? That was about 10 years after God Valley. Many might say that Shanks is the secret son of Rocks, but now that we know that he has the power to gain an audience with Gorosei, this becomes a much less likely possibility. It's more likely to say that he's connected with the Celestials instead. However, it is even more likely that the reason for his connection to the Goroseis is not connected to his blood, but rather to his words and perhaps a promise made to them in the past. But this is for another video. In the case of Rocks' lost son, who could suspect our clown Buggy? Most notably are the Logtown scenes. While we can't directly put him in a comprehensible way here, the potential parallels should be interpreted. That said, some details stand out when looking back at the scenes in retrospect. Most notably, we can focus on the scene of Buggy trying to execute Luffy and him presenting the parallel established with Roger in this scene. Perhaps this is a reversal of what happened between Roger and Rocks. Immediately after Luffy seems to miraculously survive thanks to Monkey D. Dragon's intervention, Sanji makes an interesting comment.
You believe in God?
This again seems to vaguely allude to the God Valley parallels. The last detail we can notice here is about Smoker's determination not to let any pirates escape the island. This could also be read as a parallel to Garp's actions in God Valley. Granted, this theory with these notes alone are pretty weak so far, but it's interesting that we can explore these small possible details and parallels left by Oda that always seem to be there, just waiting to be noticed. Details and scenes such as during Marineford, where Buggy imagines himself as the king of the world, being a reworking of Rocks D. Xebec's own former ambition, could again be a reference or a parallel to the two characters. However, more than Logtown, there are certainly many more topics to be shared and highlighted in full. Buggy's true significance as a character is becoming increasingly clear, and it now seems evident that he should not be underestimated as just any old pirate in the pirate world. His connections run deep, and his true potential lies in having the ability to make people his allies. We see this when even the fandom, who also gave nothing to him, let alone the characters themselves, became disbelieving when they see Buggy as part of the new Yonkos. Although his personality and goals much of the time cannot be read seriously, we must remember where he came from and where he's heading, especially now that we are also heading towards a new era of pirates, in which a great war and chaos will probably take place, and only then will we be able to see the truth behind a huge variety of characters that until then were either quite silly in our view or were a complete mystery. Buggy's true significance may even reach the point that he's the biological son of Rocks D. Xebec, Rocks D. Buggy. We should also remember here about the theory concerning the D clan, in which many people believe that all those who have such a letter in the middle of their name would be the direct descendants of Roger's gang in some way, or of Roger himself, as people worthy of following in his footsteps and taking over One Piece, people capable of changing the world and becoming influential to such an extent. With that, we can take literally why Buggy became powerful to such an extent, going far beyond his natural abilities, but just where he came from and where he is being destined to go. The same we can point to Luffy as someone worthy and perhaps destined to find One Piece.
But of course, everything we pointed out here were just assumptions and theories that may or may not be proven to be true. Everything will depend on what comes from now on in the manga and the new revelations. And what about you? Do you think Buggy could be Xebec's son?
Do you think he could be part of the D clan? Let us know your theory in the comments. I'm sure it'll be a doozy. Would love to see it. That's it, my Straw Hat Pirate. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions for a future video,
don't forget to comment below, because I'll be reading them all as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content from your pirate crew.